Welcome back. Today we're looking at a really common logical fallacy that you've probably seen before, maybe even this week. It's a clever trick that makes someone else's argument seem much easier to defeat than it really is. Let's find out how the straw man fallacy works. Let's start with this statement. We should reduce homework to give students more free time. Sounds pretty reasonable, right? The idea is simply to help students find a better balance between schoolwork and personal time. But then someone responds, "Oh, so you want to get rid of homework completely?" Wait, where did that come from? That's a huge leap. Instead of responding to the original idea, they've changed it into a much more extreme version that's much easier to argue against. So, what just happened there? Changing someone's argument into a weaker, more extreme version is called the straw man fallacy. Let's break it down. Okay, so here's the crucial point. You're not actually debating the real issue anymore. Instead of dealing with the actual, often nuanced argument someone made, you swap it out with a distorted, way simpler, or sometimes completely made up version of that argument. And this is where the name comes from. Imagine you're supposed to fight a strong opponent. When you are supposed to argue against the real idea, you build a weak straw man version of it and attack that instead. It might look like you've won the argument, but you never responded to the real point in the first place. Now, let's see what this fallacy looks like in a real conversation. Once you see it in action, it's much easier to recognize. Just look at the difference here. It is night and day. Sophia makes a really practical suggestion. Use compost bins, reduce waste. It's a specific, small-scale idea. But look at Liam's response. He jumps to this completely absurd conclusion that she wants everyone to quit their jobs and become farmers. Did you catch that? He completely ignored her real argument about waste management. Instead, he attacked the straw man he had just created. And here's the interesting part. Sometimes people do this on purpose, but a lot of the time they don't even realize they're doing it. After all, it's much easier to argue against a weaker version of an idea than to deal with the real one. So once you know this pattern, taking a reasonable point and just exaggerating it into something ridiculous, you will start seeing it absolutely everywhere. Let's look at a few more quick examples just to sharpen your fallacy spotting skills. Oh, this is a great one. A suggestion about maybe increasing student choice and getting them more engaged is immediately twisted into some radical plan to destroy all of classic literature. The original idea wasn't about getting rid of anything. It was just about adding some choice. This is the key to spotting a straw man fallacy. Watch for a big exaggeration. If someone takes a reasonable idea and turns it into an extreme, all or nothing argument, that's a huge red flag. They're no longer arguing against the original idea, they're arguing against the version they created. That's a classic straw man. Okay, so now that you can spot it, let's practice correcting it because, identifying a fallacy is great. But being able to dismantle it and steer the conversation back to reality, that is how you really sharpen your critical thinking. Let's go back to where we started. On one side, you have the original suggestion. On the other, you have the straw man response. So how would you respond? Take a moment to think about how you could point out the misunderstanding politely while bringing the conversation back to the real issue. A good response has 3 simple steps. First, point out the misunderstanding. That's not what I was suggesting. Second, restate your actual point. Reducing homework isn't the same as getting rid of learning. Finally, explain your goal. I'm talking about finding a healthier balance for student well-being. See how that shifts the conversation back to the real issue? So here's one final tip. The next time you hear an argument that suddenly sounds much more extreme than the original idea, stop and ask yourself, am I responding to the real argument or to a straw man? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.
If you'd like more personalized feedback, writing support, and discussion sessions, they're available with me or with our selected tutors. All the details are here.